Hey guys, let's dive right into this cold steel SR1. Here's the part number, box, standard affair. This was loaned in from my buddy Bobby Legs, who I always kind of chuckle when a watch collector YouTube channel, sends in a knife. I don't know, I just think that's funny. But at the same point, I'm a knife collecting channel, and I'm getting ready to send one of my watches to another knife buddy so he can check it out because he's interested in maybe getting an Omega Seamaster and wants to see how it's going to fit on his wrist and whatnot. So I told him, yeah, sure, I'll send you mine. I'm going to use it this weekend. I'm going out of town for a watch meetup. But when I get back on Monday, I'll put the bracelet on it because he has massive wrists. And I think the bracelet will fit. And then he can check that out. I'll ship it to him on Monday. So I'm a knife channel sending a watch out. So kind of interesting turn of events. So this is the SR1. This is a cold steel version. And this was designed by Andrew Demko. Go figure. He has done a lot with cold steel. Like a ton of his knives have been made by cold steel, or a ton of his designs are used by cold steel, and I'm not even going to try to list them. I know that the AD15, this is the cold steel version, which I've also done a review on recently, also sent in from Bobby Legs. There is an AD10 that was also done by Andrew Demko, and the AD20.5 is the newest, was also designed by Andrew Demko. Now that one's not a cold steel, although it's made at the cold steel factory, but we won't go there. So yeah, Andrew Demko has a lot of design cues and has designed a lot of knives for cold steel. There was another knife that he uses inspiration for this. There was a fixed blade that the military uses. Cold steel says the military uses. And is marketed towards the military at SRK, their survival knife, that they asked Andrew to come up with a folding version of. And this is what he came up with. The SR1 in Tonto. And my gosh, is it a mess on the blade. I just wipe that down really quick over here, see if we can get some of my fingerprints off, and then we can call it good, right? Because the blade was a little bit loose, the pivot was a little loose, so I tightened that up, and so that's why there's some fingerprints on the blade. Very nice, well done Tonto blade. Massive. We'll talk about all the dimensions and stuff here in just a moment. Try to mix it up a little bit for you guys so it's not the same old boring thing. I don't know, unless you like it, just very routine, which is typically what I do, but sometimes I like to break it up just a little bit. Right? It has nested steel liner. They claimed, nested. Yeah, there is some liners there in the back and a triad lock. So you need some liners for the locking mechanism there. And those are hardened steel liners, G10 backspacer, G10 scales, super grippy. Comparing it to the AD20, it's more grippy than the AD20, also in G10. And this is not a cold steel. Cold steel made the AD20.5s. This is the full size AD20. Okay, so this is much more grippy. I don't love the pocket clip. I mean, it works fine, but does it need to be that wide? It doesn't have a ton of spring, so it is a little bit tight getting in and out of the pocket. I think the pocket clip is a little overkill for this knife, but it's kind of an overkill knife altogether, which we'll see when we do some size comparisons in just a moment. 5.5 inches closed. Yes, boys and girls, 5.5. 9 3/8 overall. 3.95 blade length. 3.84 cutting edge, S35 VN as I said before, 0.188 blade thickness, Overall thickness is 0.599, and she weighs in at 7.2 ounces. So it's a pretty big knife, but it does not feel like a big knife in your hand. It's pretty good. I mean, it feels a little big because you do got some room there, but if you have bigger hands or you're wearing gloves, and this is kind of their survival knife, they're, kind of marketing it as, so you might have gloves on, so that would take up some of the room, and it would fit probably much better. But it works really well. Super grippy. If this was all wet, it would not slip out. Very strong tip for stabbing and light prying. I don't even want to say prying, but yes, in a survival situation, you could jam this into something and pry some stuff out. All in all, it's a pretty nice knife. Super strong triad lock. We don't need to go into the triad lock. Everybody knows about that. It's been proven as a super strong lock. It is just really big, but not too big to carry, honestly. I carry some big stuff throughout the years. But here it is next to the Sharpie, and I brought some bigger stuff out than our normal affair, but we'll just hit a couple of the small guys, a couple of the normal guys, the Spyderco Delica, and the Quiet Carry Waypoint. Okay, I think I put way too much lube in this one when I put it back together because it's still kind of dripping out on my mat over here. Man, messed that one up, didn't I? But that's okay. All right, so let's spread it out next to the AD15. This is the light, the cold steel version, but it's the same dimensions as the Demko made version and as the standard cold steel. Another Demko is the AD20. The AD20 in titanium, which is going to be the same size, but to give you a better look. How about a Todd Begg Bodega, which a lot of people think is very big, with its 3 3/4 inch blade. Yeah, it's big, but the Begg is not as big as the SR1. About a big overbuilt knife. The Direware Solo. Shorty compared to. And last but not least for today, the Todd Fisher Senior Archangel. Okay, that's about the same size. The SR1 still edges it out a little bit, but that's about as close as we can get. This fits perfectly in my hand. It just has different contouring and whatnot, so I get it. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with this thing. These are sold out from Cold Steel. You can find them on Amazon. They're about $150, and I'll put a link down there if you're interested. I think they're very cool. This would be a knife for me that I would probably grab and just leave in the trunk of my car with my, some tools and the gloves and, just a couple mechanics type tools. I have, a little kind of emergency toolkit, a little first aid kit and stuff like that. This would be a great knife for that type of a situation, I think. Just to leave in the trunk of your car, the door pocket of your car, so that you always had a knife, like something of substance if you needed to, right? Let's say you're carrying the Delica all day because you're going to and from work, to and from the store, running some errands, and something happens and you need a little more mass. This would be a great one to just have in your car. But hey, I'm not telling you to go buy anything. I'm just saying if you're looking for a truck or trunk knife, this one might not be a bad one for that type of application. For $150, you just throw it in the car and forget about it. I don't know. You have a lot of options, but that's not a bad one if you want a beefy knife to just have hanging around. All right. Well, Bobby Legs, thank you very much for sending this in. If you're into watches at all, go check out his channel down below. He does a lot of cool stuff, and it's worth checking out. So Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.